Hello everyone and welcome back to more spoopy time in the letter. We are back in Ashton's point of view, more like point of view, because in the last episode we started off on him, and then when we started off we basically ended up at the housewarming party timeline. So we basically jumped right into seeing where the hell and what the hell he's been doing throughout the entire housewarming party at the Wrights mansion. And it turns out it's just him going undercover like we had suspected that he would, and he's just trying to find dirt on Luke and just trying to keep a low profile, and that means he has to distance himself from Zach and Rebecca there at the party, so that's why he went off on his own to try and figure shit out. And then the whole incident happened, and he caught a glimpse of the ghost lady when he looked over at Hannah and Rebecca talking. So he was like, "Oh, that was pretty weird. What the hell is that?" It's like, but he brushed it off for for the duration of the stay there, and then he just kind of went on his way. And he was like, he found out about how he was surprised that Chief Lee, his boss, was there, but then he was like, I gotta keep my distance because I don't want no one to find out what I'm here for and who I'm who I have my relationships with, just in case I put them in danger. So the next day he gets a call from Chief Lee, and we've been let off the case. We're like, why? And then there's just some excuse that Chief Lee was saying, like, oh yeah, the superiors up higher ups are just saying that you're getting too close, it's too high profile now, so you're off the case, and I don't want you to get in trouble or lose your job over this or some shit like that. So Ashton he was trying to fight it, and he was like, I don't get it, why did you do this? But then of course Chief Lee is just being really evasive about it. He's like, I just want the files on my desk on Monday morning, you're off the case, take the weekend off, blah blah blah, whatever. And then Ashton during that time, or because of that, Ashton realizes that, hey, maybe there's some shady business going on about how these cases related to Luke have all gone cold with no evidence and no one's pursuing it. Why is that? And he was like, oh shit, maybe it's actually people like my boss Chief Lee who's involved in covering it up kind of thing. He's like, damn, this is fucked up kind of thing. So he has to let it go because it's his higher up, his superior anyway. So he gets let off the case. He calls gets into an argument with Rebecca after she caught us outside with the phone, taking the phone call. We tried to I said to stretch the truth, but I didn't think that he would go off on this long-winded kind of unrelating story that he spun off, and then that made Rebecca even mad. She accused us of using us to get to the party and blah blah blah. She's just like, oh my god, if you don't have any better excuse, why don't you just shut up? She's just really super pissed at us, and she thinks that we don't care about her friends, but we do, but we just can't say anything because it's confidential. So, and of course Ashton's trying to protect them. So anyways, regardless, Rebecca shuts the door on us, and we're like, yeah, we gotta go off and do some stuff. And then we come across Isabella, and Isabella was saying, after she was woken up by the ruckus, and she was saying how, okay, that thing that I told you about, can we go check it out and go looking around and shit like that today? And Ashton at first is like, no, it's too dangerous to involve you, but then she's like, no, I'm going with you, and she's like, fine. So during the time when Isabella's getting ready, Ashton makes a call to Professor Clark, or Andrew, and to break the news that he's been let off the case. And apparently the case is relating to Luke and investigating this whole Professor Clark's and his wife's bakery being burned down in order to get property obtained by by Wright Enterprise. But yeah, so there's suspicions that Luke did some dirty business and involvement with that whole fire that killed Professor Clark's wife. So that's why Ashton was on the case to try to prove Luke guilty, but then now he's let off and now he has to go tell Professor Clark. But Professor Clark is chill about it. He's like, it's okay, as long as you're not in trouble or any danger about it, then we're fine. But Ashton was like, I don't know about that, because he really hates the guy. But anyways, regardless, we finished that conversation with him. We decided to go to Zach's place because our minds are jumbled with all this information, and we don't know what to make of the whole ghost lady that we saw, because as much as Ashton wants to deny seeing something that's strange, he saw something regardless. So he and Isabella head over to Zach. We saw in Zach's point of view where we get to his apartment. He's not there yet because he went out on a walk early in the morning because of that nightmare he had, and then when he came back, that's where he found them just chilling at his place. And that's when Ashton was like, hey, something shady is going on and we need to do something about it. And then of course Zach reveals that he has reoccurring nightmares, except this is worse because there's a lady now. And so Isabella, Ash, and Zach are just trying to Zach was like, yeah, it's okay, you know, we have 3 heads, we can work something out kind of thing. And Ashton is sort of formulating some sort of plan of action, and that's where we are now. So yeah, so we left Zach's place. So let's see where this will take us. So seriously, Zach would probably make a more responsible officer than me if only he had the heart to join the force. Yes. So we could certainly use more kind people like him. Yes. But as good as the thought is, I push all of it into the back of my head, in the back of my mind, as Isabella and I head for my car. Yes, we don't know exactly where the hell they went after leaving Zach's place in Zach's point of view. So tonight I can't stay distracted. Well, where are you going, girl? Oh yeah, they're going to investigate BRC, right? Because a lot of the missing people and murdered people were connected to the company. So okay, so except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabella, the drive to BRC is a quiet, awkward affair. More so the hour-long wait for nightfall. Are we gonna break into the office, get some, files that are, confidential and locked away? Even with only the 2 of us, the place is rife with tense energy, only a matter of minutes now. But the ticking seconds don't take away the edge, and for the 5th time I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and turning the knobs with no real purpose. Okay, it's a nervous quirk I've developed and never bothered to correct during stakeouts, something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. Okay, but what are we staking out for? What else is there for me to do? The person I usually count on for a casual out-of-the-blue chat refuses my attempts at starting one. Yes.
Ash, out with it!
Oh.
If you have something to say.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes though, it makes me doubt if she really means everything she's telling me right now. She hasn't even glanced my way since we arrived. Having second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Right, but what are we doing there? Don't know. You can get in trouble, maybe? This isn't exactly legal. Scope BRC out, see if the real estate company has any more information that may be of help, find things about Cooper and the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde mansion. According to Isabella, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Oh, so maybe when she was looking through the files and contacting people, she was just asking about if they were part of the project, I guess? Maybe, yeah. Makes sense. Sure, I could also check the station for full reports. That's the easy, semi-legal way, but the chief was like, you gotta stay out of the precinct. But I don't want to bump into Chief right now. Yes, the guys at the precinct will definitely throw me out on his orders as soon as they see me. Not that my plan right now is any better. I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will, especially if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work, almost a model employee, as people would say. Why is she throwing caution to the wind now? Because Ghost Lady, she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna die this way if I don't do anything. I'm not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way.
Okay. Alright.
Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
True. Got me there. Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the Wright's mansion. Oh my god, girl, I don't think the Wright's mansion is an option. As it stands, I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into a realty company, right? Been here many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I have more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how badly staffed they are. Plus, it's an old building. If the bankruptcy rumors are true, it just means their access protocols might also be outdated. Still, I can do this on my own,
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
I have my ways. Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Because I'm a great officer. Yet you're helping me with this, willingly. I don't think that will sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out. Low blow, I know, but it's worth a shot when she can still turn back. It's not like I don't have any means to get into the place. With or without her, I have a way. At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You? For a passing second, it seems to work. Okay, so a hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks to me with searching eyes. Then, unexpectedly, it dissolves, not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. I'm not sure what she sees exactly or what she's hoping to find in the short while she holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute later, she simply averts her attention back to the window, training it once again at some point outside. Wow, Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
Okay, well, she gonna ride or die with me. An appeal spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her. Perhaps unintentional, perhaps one that's already too exhausted for everything going on lately. Yeah. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that note, and soon, despite myself, I sigh. Tucking away every concern I've been lugging around in favor of trusting her on this, according her the same confidence she has implicitly given me all this time. Alright, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you. Aww. Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, though none of the cheer reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Okay, let's go. Somehow the uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intended it as some kind of comforting gesture. Whether it's for me or for her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car while I'm left scrambling and chasing after her. She's already at the side entrance, a hand raised on the card reader beside it, and another poised to push the door open when I catch up to her. Hey, now, not so fast. Whatever doubt there has been in her face a while ago, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, that things might go smoothly this time.
And where do you think you kids are going?
Oh.
It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
I know, but I'm part of BRC. I forgot something. No, this is gonna leave us witnesses. We don't need witnesses. The bloke seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell from his voice alone. He might be the wary sort for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and an aloof air won't hurt until I figured out how to wiggle us out of this situation.
Just come back on Monday if you have important business.
No. But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a problem. He's probably been working here for a few months already then, maybe around 4 to 6 months max. Okay, otherwise he would have recognized Isabella or me at first glance. I haven't shown my face here since I've been assigned to the firm case a year ago. Okay. In the first place, none of the security officers ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5. Okay, so he don't know us, which is great. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. For the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Yes!
Close enough!
No?
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time.
Sanchez, yes, her last name is Sanchez.
You were closer the first time?
Really? What's her last name? I totally suck at, last names, too. What was it? It's Santos. Yeah, Santos.
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. This geezer's not going to last past this month. He can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time.
Centillon?
Still a ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night. Yes.
No, just let me handle this.
Okay, fine.
Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry.
Yes.
I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good.
Wow.
Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
Oh shit. Yeah, we gotta. In terms of stakeouts, we always have to have a cover story. We gotta have a character. I've been watching too much Brooklyn Nine-Nine to know that. Who? Me? Yes. Play along, Ash.
My what?
Oh god.
Your boyfriend, the guy with you, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes. Say yes. Yes. It's a fair observation if I do say so myself. Needless to say, the silence that descends is both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. Although the latter is probably coming mostly from me because in the next second, Isabella laughs. Laughs. Lighter than the ones I've heard from her lately, a comforting sound really, after seeing her in such a dour mood since this morning. Even as all of it subsides into mere chuckles sooner than I'd like. It's comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it, despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp.
Oh.
Oh, he's serious.
Oh, no! No. He's definitely not my boyfriend.
You should have said so, because we could have a cover-up story. Come on, girl. She might as well have set it on fire and reduced it to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in that sentence alone is a bit too much. Aw, no. Don't think that way, Ash. She's just caught off guard. Christ, one would have been enough to get the message across. Did you really have to put it that way? Oh.
That's impossible! Stop being funny, Seb.
Oh my gosh.
I'll go on ahead, okay?
Okay. She quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, leaving behind an even more awkward atmosphere for me to wade through. It would have been bearable if I didn't have to suffer through a stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is me.
Not the boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Yeah, that's true. Mind your own business.
Kids these days.
Kids.
Good to see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
Oh. Excuse me? Okay, so we're chilling out here while she goes and gets the files. Alright.
You know, stuff in the news.
Okay. You mean what happened with Rose Cooper? If I am going to be stuck here with him for a while, I might as well try to gather as much intel as I can, right? That's true. He may be just a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time, people like him are the ones who know more than they let on.
Yeah, but even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Really, those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
No, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here.
Really?
Though seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy.
Ooh.
Figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Anselm, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke shouting like no tomorrow again.
Okay. Ooh, all this gossip.
Wasn't very pleased when Girlie called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Who? Which girlie? What? Girlie? Isabella? It's not too surprising considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another? Not that it's a bad thing. It's within her rights as an employee, but Isabella rarely uses her work leaves.
Yeah, poor lassie if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all.
Right.
The least you could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Did her dad die? Wait, what? The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper, missing in action, employees, all of it ceases to matter in that instant. Almost on instinct, my eyes zero in... Sneeze. No, wait. Yeah, there we go. Almost on instinct, my eyes zero in on the intercom speaker as if staring daggers at it. As if staring daggers at it will show the man behind the voice. Will show the man behind the voice so I can see the truth in his face myself.
Oh, you don't know?
No. No what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and,
Oh.
You know, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say.
What do you mean? I want to hear what you say.
Why don't you just go after her? As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
No, of course not. He's lucky I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I were someone with ill intentions, he might not be smiling at the end of the day. Well, no, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Okay. Oh, hey, wait a second. What do you mean by... He cuts off the connections before I can finish, and the rest of my question dies in my throat. Soon the latch clicks and the side door swings open. The Seb, a stout man wearing a uniform still loose for him, waves me over from the gap before he disappears behind his station again. Just my luck, here I thought I'm going to have to count on whatever Isabella brings with her. Although no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else has already taken a firm seat in the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Since when? Of course, as I step into the building, I try to push all these questions as far down as I can. I need to focus. Work is work. But if what I've heard is exactly what I think it is, if it's a sign of things to come, honestly, I don't feel too good about that. Of course not. Alright, it's a quiet ride up to the 7th floor where the BRC Luxborn main office is. Yes. Seb has been kind enough to switch the guest elevator's power on just as I'm about to head for the fire exit stairs. Which is a welcome relief. I'm an active guy, but stairs? I don't want to tire out too quickly in case things get ugly. Right. There probably won't be any trouble with the building this quiet, but you never know. I swear, the whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. Any place feels eerie at night. Like a school, or an office building, anything. But until I've confirmed anything, those are all just stories. Worst things can happen, no need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes. Though I sure am fucking gutsy, especially with what I'm doing. Right, I'm breaking a lot of laws here. I'm also putting Isabella in a lot of risks. Best thing that can come out of this is that Isabella's right all along. Worst case scenario? 1, someone finds out Isabella's involvement in this and her boss fires her. 2, I find evidence that would implicate BRC or Luke Wright in the crime, and my meddling, if I'm not careful enough, makes it inadmissible in court. Right. Though I'll be honest, I strongly prefer losing my job or facing Wright over some spirit or ghost or whatever it is. Oh, too bad. I could always work around the problems with the former. Isabella could also find a better job. BRC never did pay her properly despite her efforts. Oh, that sucks. But fighting off a phantom? How does one even do that? Do guns even work with them? I don't know, but hey, a book does. Ask Rebecca. Yeah, not going to happen. But tonight, I'm here to fix things. If I do it without leaving a trail, all the better. Good thing that's what I'm good at. Okay. Ugh, I hate this. Easy way in. What I'll probably never be good at is finding the proper words when a sitch calls for it. But seeing Isabella's small form beyond those doors, how she pushes through despite carrying an entirely different burden this time, how she's pretending as if everything's normal, it's difficult not to try. People who have never looked beyond her smiles will never know, will never understand. Hell, even Rebecca's probably not yet aware of this. I get it. We have other problems at hand. I've done the same thing plenty of times to protect myself after all. But it's all in her eyes once she glances up at the few light raps I give the door. She wastes no time in leaving the mess of papers on the table and opening it for me, though even her confusion as she takes in my presence barely hides it.
Seb, let you in?
I know, right? The rough edge in her voice rings a whole different tune now that I'm aware why. But knowing is different from hearing it straight from her. I can't simply bring this up, can I? Yeah. It's not a topic suited for a casual conversation, and I doubt she wants to talk to me about it. As much as I want to help, there's a distance between us I'll never be able to cross, one that wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. Perhaps if I had been more honest years ago and less of a coward, I might have been able to. Figures I couldn't even do that for the one person I keep telling myself that I care deeply about. Oh, Ash. What can I say? I'm a very charming person.
To a rock, maybe?
Hey now. This is the closest we can get to it, I suppose. The light banter, the fleeting glances, and sometimes the long bouts of silence. And it's enough, for me it is, because even without words, there's comfort. With her, it's easy. Must be a pretty cool rock then.
Ugh, get over yourself.
Okay, fine. Hey now, I deserve some slack here. Today's supposed to be my day off, and yet here I am, helping you out.
Helping? By standing at the door?
Okay, then let me in. Well, you're not exactly letting me in. Despite what she says, she moves to block me when I try to enter. Hey! She must have expected this the second we walked up the building's entrance and counted on the night shift guard to bar me from the place. Oh. It's reassuring to know she's somehow worried about me, although it's a bit misplaced at the moment. Besides her concerns aside, I really can't let her get into the thick of things without me, not with all the problems on her plate right now. Isabella.
Seriously, Ash. Seb might get in trouble for this. You might get in even bigger trouble with your boss.
I know, but I'm in deep now, girl, so like, might as well. And you're not? We've already talked about this back at Zach's. It's out of the question.
At least do it for Seb, please. He's a really nice guy. With the way things are going here,
He's what? On that, I agree with her. Seb's not such a bad fellow, might be a little careless with his job and talks too much, but he means well. Right, he's a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy. I hate to see the guy leave here with a bad record in case something goes wrong. However, the anxious look she shoots back at the table behind her bring an even bigger worry. Why? Did you find something, aside from what you told me about yesterday?
Not yet. I'm not sure.
Then I want to see.
I haven't started going through the files we have in the records room. Just the ones they handed to me in rows.
Okay. Let me see. Yeah.
Wait, Ash!
No, let me see. Isabella, I already promised you that no one's going to get in trouble after we're done here, even Seb. I'll make sure we leave the place clean. Her hesitation is still there, a split second of indecision as she tries to form an argument. Eventually, when nothing comes to mind, she steps aside. Yeah.
Okay, but we can't take the original files out of this office. Clear? Not even a single sheet. We'll just have to make a copy.
Okay, fine. Good for me. Don't worry, that's the plan. It appears to reassure her a nod, then shortly she gestures for me to follow. Passing the sea of cubicles, I can't help but take in everything in their office, a force of habit for the most part. As far as I know, BRC Luxborn used to own this whole building. Well, okay. Offices in several floors once upon a time when real estate is still a lucrative business for the company in this side of the country. Then competition showed up and suddenly everything's not so good anymore. It only got worse as the years went by, or so according to the rumors. Now the branch is just this floor, despite what the huge sign in the building's facade says. And frankly, it's not too hard to believe when one looks at the state of this room right now. Wow, that's a really sad cubicle. A number of desks have been cleared out. Personal mementos are scarce as if the employees have gone on an exodus. That'll be the downsizing, probably. Still worrisome though. Of course, I shake away all of this when Isabella starts handing me the papers she's been looking through. Focus, Frey. Yes, there's no point in whining or dwelling any longer on it. That's why we're here in the first place, to find out what the real deal is. To find out what the real deal is the old-fashioned way. Is the old-fashioned way. Isabella's presence is a whole other blessing too. I couldn't imagine how long this would take if I pushed going in here alone. Okay. Is this everything? Where are the documents you mentioned?
Still locked up in the records room. Do you need them now?
I guess. Bring them here. Yeah, everything that has to do with the mansion's sale, even those who worked on it during the renovations, to clean up everything. Yes. Including your mandatory sign-in sheets. It's an odd thing to bring up, but at least it elicits a laugh from her before she heads for the records room. She remembers. And no matter how weak the sound of it is from her usual ones, it's a welcome thing to hear. It reminds me that the Isabella I know is still there. She returns minutes later with a thick stack of folders and binders. Wow. Alright. For the next half of the hour, we work in complete silence while we dig into everything compiled in the folders. Not an easy task considering how thick the whole thing is, but there's two of us. Yeah, I know, that's like some thick binders. In fact, Isabella does most of the work, sorting the contracts, the employee list, and stuff we won't need into a neat pile. Just the files for the restoration alone makes up a stack of papers that's an inch thick. Wow. Third-party service providers hired by the masonry, radiators, woodworking, plaster work, slate roofing, and a whole bunch of other things are well documented. Hell, every single contractor who worked on the project were listed individually, even if they were just there to do the plumbing. It's a high-profile and a high-cost estate, alright? Yes, it is. But with that scope comes the loopholes, means plenty of room to hide something in if there's something fishy going on. All I have to do is find a pattern. And it doesn't take long. Ooh, what'd you find? Upon closer glance, despite the original owners shouldering the renovation costs, it'll be surprising if they've managed to break even on the Ermengarde mansion. To break even on the Ermengarde mansion? Oh yeah, break even, right. Okay, so what with the additional expenses for the open house, the commission for the agents, and other overhead fees, right? At one point, the negotiations to get it listed under BRC's name almost broke down, too. Some disagreement about the listing price. The owners wanted to be rid of it as quickly as possible while keeping the worth at a profitable level. BRC was insisting on a higher amount, double what the appraiser suggested, right? Because the owners just want to get rid of it no matter what, and just like as long as it's like the bare minimum of what it's worth, I guess. But then BRC is just like, no, I want it higher. I want to make it worth more. This plus the rumor that their branch is closing. BRC Luxborn really is in the red, and the sale of the mansion could have easily been a desperate move to keep the branch afloat, right? No wonder the final sale happened as fast as it did. Did you know about this?
No, they took it off our hands after I submitted the final documents for the sale. I didn't even know until I read this.
Damn.
I'm not sure if Rose did. I've only been given the key to the records room after she...
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is, they've kept all the files from me.
Right.
Rose was the one who compiled everything from our side. And even then, she was probably not aware of this.
Right. I would imagine they would want to keep it hush-hush.
There's only so much they let us know.
Right.
After that, they just told us to wait for our commission, and that the legal team would handle the rest.
Okay.
The rumors are true, huh?
Yeah. Seems so. Yeah, sheesh, this place is just unlucky, going bankrupt while the rest of this crap is happening, right? But this isn't what we're looking for. What we need is the who, the people aside from Isabella and Cooper involved in this business with the mansion, and the how they are now. We can't do much with the outside contractors, they won't be on file. The employee list, on the other hand. Even with 2 people working through the pile, the whole task still takes quite a while. It's a quarter of an hour later when we put down the papers with a sigh and move on to the clients upon Isabella's insistence. For that, the sign-in form from the open house comes in handy. Okay. There we go. Something that gives me a laugh when I spy the fake name I wrote on one of the sheets. Where is it? Ashley. Is it? Hell, why did I even pick this name? It sounds so lame.
What name?
Nothing important. Just focus on those papers you have. We need to finish this soon, before Seb suspects anything. She snatches the paper away before the thought of hiding it occurs to me. Not that there's much secret in it. Isabella found me that afternoon anyway, but still.
Ash Lee?
Yes, I figured it was him. I've been careless that day, tailing Luke right without confirming where they were headed off to. While the butler's terribly efficient in keeping their rights engagements from the public eye, there are other ways if only I've given it the time of my day, yes. In retrospect, I've been too eager, too impatient to find something that'll crack the case and be done with it. Maybe my failure goes as far back as the day of the open house, not during the party last night. Yeah, well, I was pressed for time.
Seriously? Ashley? Were you even trying?
Oh, come on. You didn't even notice I was the one who wrote it down.
Of course I wouldn't. Only an idiot would use his real name.
Oh, really? It worked. It worked, though. Admit it. It's genius. Who would have thought, huh? She responds with a roll of her eyes, then drops the matter entirely by shoving the paper back to my hands. We lapse back to our respective tasks afterwards, wordlessly skimming through everything. Read, set aside, get another one. Yeah, read, set aside, get another one. Looking back at the sign-in sheet, I spot Luke right and Hannah right listed up top. Yes, right there. Not that I don't know about them already, of course, but scanning through the list, a name immediately comes to my attention. A name? What name? Madeline Williams. Okay.
Something wrong?
Who, do you know her? Huh? No, just that I remember this girl listed there. Listed here? Okay. She frowns, moves her seat closer, and takes careful read at the sheet. There's a long moment before she speaks up again, but from the way she tenses, she appears to be expecting the worst already.
What about her?
Yeah. She was with me in the group following Cooper when we toured the upstairs part of the mansion, I mean. Alright, rather loud one, especially when we took a peek into the attic, kept talking about the ghost stories the whole tour.
Then, do you? Do you think she's...
Do you think she's dead? I don't know. She was reported missing 3 days after. Oh. There was a ruckus at the precinct the day her family filed it. Threats were naturally given at the lack of progress days later, desperate ones. Her family's willing to shell out all the cash they have just to find her, to no avail, unfortunately. Officer Benjamin has been in a bad mood ever since he spoke with them, but what can he do? What can we do, right? We have no idea where the fuck she went. He's tied, we're all tied. There's only so much we're able to do with everything that has been shoved into our hands recently. She still hasn't been found. It's already been a week. Isabella makes no further comment aside from a nod. Instead, she sits back on her chair with a distant look in her eyes, her hands balling into a fist as she struggles with her frustration. Or maybe it's anger. But the moment doesn't last too long. Soon her grip loosens and she folds her hands back on her lap. Her expression, however, it's one I've seen too many times in the mirror. What does one say to a person burdened not by one loss, but many, who carries it in her shoulders like a badge of shame? I've yet to find the answer to that myself. Until then, the only way is forward, press on to see where our attempts at fixing our mistakes might lead us. And despite my own doubts, a glimpse of that look on her face is enough reason for me. I can't just give up. There's too much at stake, too much to lose. With a renewed focus, I continue. On the third and last sheet, I spot another one, Beatrice Wilde, one I recall from the newspaper obituaries. Oh, she's dead too. Died of a heart attack. Oh, wow. A letter of correspondence expressing condolences to her family confirms as much in her files. Passed away at age 74 in her sleep. Oh, okay. Not so brutal. She's at that age. It certainly could have been a natural death. Right? I mean, yeah, I'd like to believe so, right? But 3 more letters turn up when I rummage through the stack, and it leaves nothing more than foreboding feeling in me. Really? They're all addressed to families of clients who have passed away in the past week. Whoa. Regardless, these go into the pile of things worth looking into after our visit here, along with William's info sheet. There are just so many names, so many faces, each one I've seen that day, and here I am wondering if they're all alright. It isn't a selfless thought that brings the question to mind. Rather, it's the logic that if more of them are still alive, the more people I can choose to question. Nothing's concrete yet, of course. These are just speculations, but we're making progress. Once done with the sign-in sheets, I stash it along with the growing pile to my left and pull out as many of the other documents Isabella has already prepared for me. We're working through the employees list now, those who have been assigned to the mansion. Because if Isabella was to be believed, if what she's seen and what happened to Rose Cooper is because of that letter, I need to know everyone who has possibly read it aside from the 3 of us, if they've been noticing strange things too. For all I know, these may have just been a terrible coincidence. Although the thought of that starts to diminish as we dig into the BRC's company files. Really? Why? 15 minutes later, the stack close to my elbow has risen from 5 to 21 different dossiers. Client and employee documentation, people who have either visited the open house or worked on the property in some capacity since the letter's discovery. Turns out there were 2 more employees who handled the mansion directly, aside from Cooper and Isabella. Who? Christian Tsai, the realty specialist, and Mark Julius John Marie, the estate appraiser. Okay. Alright. This Tsai guy. See? Tsai? I don't even know. He was in custody just the other day. Really?
Really? Sir John has been looking for him. He stopped reporting to work a few weeks ago.
Oh.
Are you sure it's the same person?
Yes, I would know. Yep, this is him. Folks at the precinct said they went to his house after a noise complaint. Okay. They found him just acting all crazy. Had to take him in when he started getting violent. Oh. He kept screaming about a woman. Immediately she stiffens. I don't want to bring it up or imply a connection to Isabella's story, but that is exactly what happened. It was driving the guards mad, but he didn't last too long in there. A few hours in and he just started bashing his own head against the wall, and well, oh shit. It was messy to say the least.
Oh no, we had no idea. Is he okay? HR just marked him as AWOL because none of their calls would get through.
Yeah, you can imagine why. He's in the hospital right now. I heard they're putting him in a psychiatric ward as soon as he recovers. He's still a bit unstable, yeah. John Marie, on the other hand. His employee file notes his date of leaving and even when his final payment had been given. Okay, so he resigned. Along with it, there's a letter to his family about the appraiser being found dead in the office. Oh, never mind. Didn't resign in a normal way, but more like resign just completely from his life. Communication is hush-hush, and there's mention of compensation if they don't talk about it to the media. Inspector Abigail has often scolded me for not reading the reports on a regular basis, but I try to keep up to date as much as I can. When I do, I make sure I'm aware of the gist of what's going on in my city. This never reached the police's ear or the health and safety executive. Yes. Do you know about this guy? One glance at her says everything. They've hidden it from the media. They've kept it from the police. It's not surprising this will also be a secret from someone of Isabella's position in this company, right? Fuck.
Rose was looking for him last week. We haven't heard anything from him either.
Damn, this is hella shady.
Until now. They never mentioned this to us.
Yeah, well, again, Ashton was like, I don't think they would disclose any of this information to their employees, so, I'm not surprised she doesn't know. Business going under and someone dies while working here? Of course they want to keep that quiet. It's bad publicity. Yes, that too. This whole thing is just getting freakier by the minute. Nevertheless, I hand the files for Isabella to make a copy of. The pages with their names, addresses, and contact numbers will do. We'll start with the ones who live within the city. Sometimes there are things you really can't just brush off as a mere coincidence. In my line of work, once a pattern pops up, it's only right to be suspicious. Especially the thing with Sai, it hits too close to the stuff my own friends have been telling me.
All of this?
Yes, all of this. It's considerably thinner than the one she brought in, yet somehow the way she hugs the folders close to herself makes it seem heavier. Like she's hanging on to it in the same manner one will latch onto a lifeline. Only the noteworthy ones. And those that might still be alive. She doesn't need to know that. We can't check the outside contractors, but the guys with a direct connection to BRC and the people who attended the open house should be enough. We don't have time to see how everyone's doing, especially if what you said is true. For a second she appears about to argue, then quickly decides against it and hides it away before anyone reads the question in her face. Then, in a too abrupt motion, she turns towards the copier and gets to work. Soon only the machine's constant thrum fills the air around us, while I keep myself busy cleaning up the mess we've made. The lack of talk is awkward, to put it mildly, disturbing at worst. I've gotten so used to letting her just babble away whenever it's just the two of us. Okay, let's see what the journal has to say. Flip, flip. Nope, still going. Flip, flip. Okay, there we go. So, to confirm their suspicions, Isabella helped Ashton break into the Briar Realty Corporation's Luxembourg office that night. There, the files they found revealed the real deal with the mansion sale that was unknown even to Isabella, and something possibly more terrible. Yes, people dying. I could tell, however, she wants to do more. She wants to fix this mess herself, and that desire makes her antsy. But at the same time, she's learning how not to be impulsive or stubborn, exactly as I told her yesterday before agreeing to any of this. Or maybe these so-called changes have always been with her. Dire situations have always pushed people to change, after all. Although seeing this happen in front of me only makes it difficult to find the proper things to say. In an atmosphere this tense and changed, what is left for us to talk about? Certainly not the news. What's worse is when you only realize all of this in hindsight right after you've already ran your mouth off. Yes. You know, for a house your company seems to be in a hurry to sell, they still made quite a fortune out of it. Look at this. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 6. 6? Are you sure they're planning to give your entire share for this? This isn't a small amount, especially given the usual cut, and their accounting department isn't in the greatest shape either.
Even if they don't,
What?
it's not like someone still needs it.
Oh. And there's the reason why people don't let me talk. Silence once again descends throughout the room, denser compared to the ones we've shared tonight. Behind me, I can still hear her movements, sharp and precise, while she feeds the originals into the machine. Then, with one last click, all of it stops. Her feet shuffles lightly against the floor. When she moves away, something creaks softly, probably the table, as she settles her weight against its side. By this time, an apology is already at the tip of my tongue, but... Well,
Papa's
Is your dad dead?
gone, Ash.
Yes, oh shit. Within those scant few seconds, everything between us shifts as the gravity of her words sink in. Yeah, as the gravity of her words sinks. Right then and there, something harsh and immovable rises between us. Death is something I'm familiar with, almost 10 years in the police force, and it's impossible not to be acquainted with it. But this is different from those dead bodies we examined in forensics, a far cry from the victims we found on a bad investigation. Those I could easily distance myself from, no emotional attachments, no need for pretenses. Yet somehow I still find myself grasping for things to tell her, any words of comfort that'll dull the pain. Because even without looking at her, her grief feels palpable enough, her pain, an immutable weight hanging over us. So gently I offer, comfort her! Comfort her, Ash! Tell me about him. When? Yeah. Just, yeah, keep her talking. Like, she needs comfort. When? Yeah.
Huh? When what?
When did he pass? Your dad. I mean, when did you find out? She doesn't answer. Not immediately, anyway. For a long moment, the hush simply stretches out before us, spanning across the seconds we let pass while we both simply stand there waiting. Eventually, she exhales. Hey, man, you started it. I'm just trying to, keep it going and try to help you. Lightly muted enough that I might have missed it had I not been paying attention to her every movement.
Yesterday.
Oh, damn. Oh.
Around 3 in the afternoon there. Mama called. She told me he passed away in his sleep, and...
yeah, maybe that's why she was crying when we saw her at the door, because, Ash was like, oh yeah, her eyes are really red and puffy. Oh, shit, man.
I guess I can take comfort in that, huh? But Papa wasn't in any pain when...
Yeah, oh man. She trails off, releases another ragged breath hidden underneath her, and chuckles, each one's mirthless, heavy with nothing but sorrow. Then she falters into silence, and for all of my attempts at lightening her burden, I'm suddenly at a loss. Reassurance could only do so much when her only reason for staying here has suddenly been taken away from her, a hope yanked from under her feet right after it was generously given. And without the one person who pushes her to endure all the shit she's going through, means nothing but a struggle. What does one say to a person fraying at the edges, slowly wearing thin and breaking? Are words even enough? What right do I have anyway? I cannot give her anything, apart from lies that changed me as a person, and affection she may or may not even want for herself. Because no matter how easy she has wormed herself into our lives, how immutable her presence has become, her own heart will always yearn for something else. For home. Tell me about him.
Huh? About what?
Yeah, I don't know, just what was he like as a dad, Your dad. Tell me about him. Anything. Just talk. Say anything you want. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll listen. Yeah. Silence again, as if she's testing the weight of my question. For what purpose it is. For what purpose it is. For a reason even I can't say right now. For after a while, though, she starts, reluctantly, her voice hitching, faltering, and stumbling on each syllable as she chooses her words. A rough start, but soon it steadies. And along with it, to keep company, the stories from childhood and memories she's fond of. Are the tears. Shoulder to cry on. Despite this, in spite of the grief choking her words off, the hurt closing her throat, and the sobs racking her lithe form, she continues, like the mere act of speaking is a relief in itself. A release. She tells me of her father, the very person who named her, how she looked up to him, how she was a bit of a tomboy growing up in her attempts to imitate him, and how the man encouraged her to pursue what she really wanted. Perhaps even the only thing she ever did for herself, having grown up not wanting anything more than food to be put on the tables.
He told me I don't have to listen to them. That I can do what I want.
Aww.
Every day, he'd wake up at 4, Ash. Because he'd earn more that way. And every single time, he'd give them to me.
Aww.
Whatever extra he earned, he'd hand them all. So I'd have something to use for my paintings. And you know what? Back home, just a good tube of paint costs almost as much as what we spend for food the whole day. But he'd always set something aside. Told me he wanted to see my paintings in a museum one day.
Aw, she pours all of it out, every little thing she loved and admired about him. Like this, it's easy to see why she has gone to such great lengths for him, why she abandoned her dreams, why she went against her wishes just to grant him another chance at life. Others will say it's her warmth that draws people to her, or her cheer. Neither are wrong, but neither is the whole truth to her either. Because those who have never bothered to look beyond the surface will never see her. See someone earnest, someone who has always meant well, despite her underlying stubbornness. This is how she loves. Warm, steadfast, unflinching. You never meet many people like her, not in my line of work, not with the kind of people I've had to deal with. Always with something to hide, always with something to lie about. Eventually, when you run across too many of them, you change, you become like them. In many ways. For a lot of reasons. She's the kind of person I want to be and be around with, who made me feel I am still worth something.
He didn't want me to leave. Said, begged, I could finish my studies first.
Aw.
In the end, I couldn't even grant him that one request. I'm a terrible daughter, aren't I?
No, you're not, girl. Girl. You're not, right?
Huh?
What? Oh, you're not. I can't speak for your dad. I haven't even met the man, but I know you're not. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this. The remark just came out. Now I'm stringing all of these together as I go. But one thing is certain, none of what I'm saying about... none of what I'm saying about... God, I'm like tripping over my words because I'm getting emotional. But one thing is certain, none of what I'm about to say is a lie. Yes. The Isabella I know is a total klutz, but I've never seen anyone work as hard as she does. She's the type who wears her heart on her sleeve, though it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's always in the right place. She's intimidated by a lot of stuff, but she knows how to appreciate the smallest things in life. Frankly, you've caused us no small amount of trouble since you barged into our lives. But when I'm with you, all of my worries seem trivial. He has already crept up to my face that's a weird sentence. This whole thing is about to take registers. But yeah, when this whole turn of events just, yeah, God, Jesus. Before I blurt out the rest of it, declare feelings I'm not even ready to reveal to anyone, much less to her, my hand comes up to smother the rest of it. Though embarrassment quickly takes the reins before I can completely clamp my mouth shut. And I'm pretty sure Zach and Becca think the same way. You have a nasty way of growing on people like that, and you know what? We got everything we needed in here. I'll just wipe the security recordings and we're good to go. Okay. While I'm at it, you better wipe that snot off your face and you don't look very nice when you're bawling like that. Ash. Ash. What a way to try to make it so that's not awkward. Anyway, let's see what the journal has to say. Oh, Ash. Ash. Aw, okay. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, there we go. So while gathering what they found, Ashton accidentally brought up Isabella's father, who had apparently passed away the day before. Suddenly her reasons for trying to fix this mess became clear to him. In his attempt to comfort her, he ended up almost admitting something he's not yet ready to put to words. Yes. Well, you might just soon have to, because we're gonna be put into a life and death situation, you know, so you never know. Hastily, I gather everything, the personnel files, client documents, sale agreements, and contracts, anything my hands could reach. In record time, all of it has been stacked in a neat pile, ready for storage. I'm heading for the records room not a few seconds later. Wherever that is. Yeah, you need to know where it is first, girl. It should be an easy find, unless this place is a maze of some sort, which I highly doubt. Still beats staying here and seeing the look on her face. Crap. Really, her anger is still bearable. I can take that, including the glower she sends my way. So, yeah, I'll go get the security videos and put these back where you pulled them from. Man, these are heavy, you know? God.
Ash, it's just paper. You don't even know where I am.
Yeah. Oh no, I can handle this. Easy as pie. And, yeah, security cams, tapes, videos, cams. Yes. Oh my god, Ash. Yeah, I'm off. Her rejection at this point? Maybe not yet. Yeah. Oh, it's alright, girl. We can save it for another time. You know, getting the files back to BRC's archive room is a cinch, okay? With the documents back in their proper places, I locked the door behind me, tugging it twice just to make sure. Now on to the next order of business. Removing the evidence of our little excursion in here, or at the very least, the parts showing what we've been doing during the past hour. Can't have our faces plastered on security footage showing us breaking the law, as it were. I'm gonna have to wipe the data for Isabella's access card entries too. Okay. Surprisingly, finding the security room proves a breeze. What will be tricky is getting inside. The fact that no one has walked out during the whole time we've been here means the room is either empty or their security's sound asleep. I'm banking more on the former. If they're cutting corners and firing agents, I have no doubts that they fired the guy stationed there, if they have anyone watching the monitors in the first place, right? It's a rather common thing for establishments. Just leave security recording indefinitely and only check the footage if something actually happens, right? Just to check, I press my ears against the door, listening for a sign of anyone occupying the room. After a long minute and nothing, I give the knob a few rattles. Standard lock and key should be easy enough to pick. Okay. We have lockpick sets, but those are only to be used if necessary and with a search warrant. Even then, it's a skill set rarely needed. Subtlety isn't only a cost priority if they have authority to search the premises. Bolt cutters and brute force are the favored methods. If those fail, we call a locksmith. Okay. I prefer the good old hairpin trick when those options aren't available. Besides, they're easy to hide and store for emergencies, right? And you know, it's inconspicuous. Running my hand through my hair, I pull a pair of bobby pins. What? You keep those in there? All right. Nothing wrong with that then. It's just always good to keep it in handy, as Ashton has so demonstrated. Two of these, and I can just about open any standard lock. One makes a lever, and the other makes a handle. I won't call it a complex skill, but it certainly takes time and a lot of practice to successfully pick a lock. Good thing I practiced with them for a bit in my college years. I learned more when they're accessible and standard issue for a law enforcement officer. I wiggle here, a click there, and I managed to seize all the pins in the locking mechanism soon enough. With a slight turn of the knob, the security room's ripe for the picking. Yeah, the security room's ripe for the picking. Oh, we're gonna see some shady shit. Oh shit. The room's odor hits me first, a sharp, nauseating stench, as if someone has accidentally spilled a gallon of bleach in the room. When was the last time they opened this place? Ugh, this place smells awful. Jesus, it's worse than the forensics lab on a bad day. This is probably because of a badly botched effort to clean the place up. Even in the dark, I can spy dark stains on the walls. Oh, I hope they're not something of concern. I really don't have the time to try and play is this ketchup or soda right now, but I have this strange gut feeling who the mess might belong to. As expected, no security personnel mans As expected, no security personnel mans the office's CCTV controls, and the standalone DVR setup is open for anyone. Normally, I'd have a heap of things to say about this sloppy security setup, but right now, their negligence makes the whole task of erasing evidence easier, right? No fuss, no muss. Okay. The next one should be the access card data. Hopefully, getting into the computer won't be too much of a hassle. Everything up to now has been smooth sailing. There have been hiccups, I'll give it that, though it does nothing to dampen the good mood I'm in. Alright. Once I shift my attention to the machine sitting next to the DVR setup, all of it swiftly evaporates. I am no computer buff, but I can definitely recognize one more than a decade old. Simply looking at it makes me feel younger. Oh, so it's like really, really old. With a heavy sigh, I power it up and mentally prepare myself for a slow slug. Slow apparently remains an understatement here. Wow, that's a really old computer then. It takes a whole 3 minutes for the thing to start up. The OS hasn't even started loading, and in my boredom, I start inspecting the live feeds from the cams. Only two works, one for the view outside, everything seems to be in order there, and the other, the main workspace where it's a fleeting glimpse, a cursory glance, but the sight of it stops me. Oh, yes, a shadow! The image is a bit blurry, but standing there, right in the middle of the room by one of the cubicles, I can make out the form of a... What the hell is... Oh, I don't get too far into that line of thought. No few seconds after my words have slipped out, without any sort of warning, while I'm still trying to make sense of what it is, the figure moves. Oh, a moment of paralysis hits me when she stops right in front of the camera. Like a damn rookie, I go still in the face of danger. Hi! Say hi to the camera! Say hi to Mom! I definitely haven't been trained to handle the supernatural, but this is one, isn't it? And... oh fuck. Her eyes bore into me, the malice in them piercing. Even beyond the screen, it's enough to make me go numb. Isabella, do you not see this? You're like standing right there, girl! Oh, only the mug crashing to the floor when my hand accidentally takes a swipe at it snaps me out of the trance, reminding me that I'm not the only one here. Isabella, right. It seems she hasn't noticed anything. Am I the only one seeing this? In any case, whatever's happening, I have to get her out. I have to get her out. Gathering my wits, I quickly reach for my phone. Uh-oh. It takes all but 2 seconds before she answers, but there's no time for relief.
Ashton?
You need to get out of there, girl.
Really have to call?
You need to get out of there, girl. No, girl, we gotta go. We gotta book it. Get out of there.
What? What are you...
Yo, out. Get out. I'll meet you in the elevator. Just...
You're creeping me out, Ash.
Girl, you should know by now why I sound like this, girl. Just get yourself out of that place now. Without second thought, I back away from the controls from the room, ready to be done with this place. But before my foot even moves, she disappears. Oh, shit. Oh, shit! Oh my god, I actually... Son of a bitch! Instinct instantly takes over, and my hand quickly reaches for the gun at my side. Only to meet empty air. Girl, why did you go under that gun? A mistake that cost me a few precious seconds while the paperwork I brought with me threatens to scatter everywhere at the same time. Can't lose that. Girl, we can't lose that. Gathering everything in myself once more with no weapon to protect myself, my sense of self-preservation kicks in next, and I lunge towards the door. Bye, girl. Bye, girl. I sprint across the office without daring to look back. Isabella's already waiting in front of the elevators by the time I make it out of their office. Girl, we gotta hit the floor. Hit the button. Hit it. Worry creases her eyebrows upon glancing at me, but I don't have time to answer the questions in her eyes. As soon as I reach her, I grab her arm, practically throw the two of us into the open elevator, and slam the button for the ground floor. A sigh of relief escapes from me when the elevator starts its descent. The clicking noise fades off into the distance. Oh my gosh, she's gonna meet us there. Beside me, Isabella shifts, moving the stack of papers under her arms while she takes in my appearance. Concerns in her eyes, though, all I offer her is a small gesture of my hand while I attempt to compose myself. Breathe. Breathe. In, out.
Why are we in such a hurry?
Girl, you would not believe what I just saw in that security room. We need to get out of this place. Did you get everything?
Yeah, it's all here. But really, you don't look too good. What's wrong, Ash?
I saw her. I'll be fine. Just... Oh, I was in the security room. From the monitor, there was a fucking... Oh, the rest of what I'm about to say dies on my tongue when the elevator stops and the doors open to... Fuck, I've seen this. I've seen the video. Shit. It's a QTE. It's a QTE and I'm scared. I say it every time and I'm scared. Okay, oh fuck. There's a moment's pause while we both take in our surroundings. Confusion's understandably there.
Oh, come on! They should just replace this whole thing.
Oh, girl. No, I'm quite sure I pressed for the ground floor. Right? But it's just as Isabella said, the elevator always did have problems when I visited in the past. Often she becomes so angry whenever we try to get to her floor, and she'll have to repeatedly smash the button for the elevator to even move. That was always good for a laugh. That was always good for a laugh. I wasn't too worried then. Now. From the distance beyond the lights reach, the noise echoes in my ears along with the rapid pounding in my chest. Isabella stiffens and her eyes grow wide at the sound. Gingerly, she reaches up to grab the hem of my sleeve and grip it, hard, tight enough for her fingernails to dig through. Her eyes searches wildly for the source of the sound while I stand protectively in front of her. I think you need to smash the button right now.
Ash, did you hear that?
Yes, I do. Anyone there? Girl, you don't say these things. You just go. You just book it. Oh, God. I can hear you moving from here. Girl! Show yourself. Girl! No response. No response, only the soft sound of something scurrying around on the floor and the walls in slow deliberate movements, faint though still audible enough in this hush. Until it stops. A moment. Fuck.
We need to go, Ash.
Yeah.
We have to.
We have to go. And then... No! This is gonna be jump scare! This time, I'm certain it's not... this time, I'm certain it isn't my imagination. Against my training, my whole body freezes. Hands still mid-press on the button, eyes growing wide while waiting for any sort of movement from further back, and ears strained for the source of the sound. Girl, you need to go! I don't care! It doesn't matter! I can't even offer Isabella any reassurances. Much as I hate to admit, dread has seeped into every nerve in my body. And the blasted elevator and the blasted elevator still won't work. What the fuck? This isn't in my fucking training manual. Of course not.
Ash, we need to leave. I know that sound. Ash, please. Get the elevator.
I'm trying, girl. You don't see me pressing the button? Oh shit. Another series of shuffling against the ground, a laughter, and all of a sudden she's just there. Like a twisted spider, she stares at us, a look of hunger in her eyes and venom in the twisted manner she smiles. A glee she has well earned, and when we're damn flies that have been dropped right onto the spider's web. Okay, we need to. I know we need to go, girl. Damn it. Oh, without warning, she moves, mocking me with each unhurried crawl she takes, knowing I'm at her mercy. Fucking hell!
Ashton, the door!
I'm trying! Stop! You're making me panic! Our lives are in the hands of a crummy elevator, literally hanging between life and death. We're not going to die here. Not in a damn elevator. Oh shit. Here we go. Oh, 4, 1, 8, 9, 3. 4, 6, 2, 8, 5. Oh my god, 8, 1, 6, 3. Oh, 5. Oh, the shit. 9, 2, 8, 3, 5. Oh shit. Okay, I'm fucked. Bye. I can't. I'm too flustered. My nerves are shot. I skipped that QTE, girl. It's all about that survival. Fuck that bitch. As if a divine power has heard me soaring up a storm in my head. Doors close just as that thing looms near. Soon the elevator, the blasted thing, is headed up. Isabella's knees buckle in relief. In 2 ticks, she's hugging herself without any care for the mess of papers and folders she has dropped on the floor in her panic. I'm sorry guys, I like bitched out. I totally bitched out on that. But like, girl, I can't. Not when my hands are like fucking shaking. I can't. She draws in one ragged breath after another, each one brimming with nothing but relief. And this is the most I've been tired my whole damn life. Not during training, when my superior first asked me to drop 100, not after a stakeout, but after smashing a fucking elevator button repeatedly. I slumped to the ground beside her, worn out, but I don't let myself feel relief again, not until we're out of here. Isabella seems to be of the same mind as she looks to me. Still, I find myself sharing a shaky laugh with her.
We're okay. We're fine. Right?
Yeah, sure. yeah, we're good. Alive. Fuck, we should have taken the goddamn stairs. Twice I've seen it. Thrice, if I include the party. Unless I'm tripping balls without realizing it, there's no doubt in my mind that this is actually happening. I don't want to believe it. But with the truth staring in my face, but with the truth staring at me in the face, it'll be stupidity to deny the reality of the matter. Yes. Can't. I think that was like the worst QTE I've had thus far. Hold on, I'm gonna see where I am for time. Oh my god, this is going on for a while, and my nerves are shot. Still good. We still good. I haven't reached my limit yet. My time. Oh my god. First ever QTE skipped. I was so adamant. I was like, I'm not gonna skip a QTE. I'm not gonna bitch out. I got this. Like, I've got it so far, right? And then, nope. No. Why? Oh, Ashton and Isabella beat a quick exit after getting what they needed, making sure not to leave evidence of their break-in. On their way out, however, the elevator malfunctioned and dropped them in the building's basement parking instead, where a familiar face welcomed them. Yes. As soon as the lift hits the ground floor, we hightail out of the building, Seb's sound asleep when we pass by his station. However, in the face of what we've seen, everything I faced tonight, we really can't care less who will still see us on our way out, yeah. The sooner we get away from this place, the farther the better. I'm just not sure if this also means being safe. She almost got us, damn it. The fucking thing almost had us, right? Oh my god. Shit, it was only by luck that we managed to get the fucking elevator unstuck. Had the blasted thing not worked in the last second. I need some air. Fresh, breathable air that doesn't stink like death and gore all at once. I'm panicking. Christ, losing focus. With another person here, I can't afford that right now. Isabella hasn't said anything, but I know she's more shaken than I am. I can't lose it when another person's depending on me. Remember your training, Frey. Another deep breath, and soon I'm starting the engines and driving us off. After that little incident, somewhere open would be good. Someplace I won't get trapped. Oh yes, the park. Luxbourne Park brings a welcome relief, though only by some. The chill that has seeped into my bones is still there, furling and unfurling underneath my skin. If I don't move, if I don't busy myself with anything, soon my brain will go haywire. It's the last thing I want to happen when there are plenty of things to do. But this already answers all of it, doesn't it? Those deaths? Yes. Just how many copies of the letter are out there? Isabella can't have the only one if other people are also getting cursed. Could it be that the one she has shown us is just one of 5? Maybe even more. That whole pass this to 5 people business is ridiculous, but at this point, is it still? Nope. You saw what happened. All in all, we found 21 people who might have read the letter, 7 of them deceased, 8 if we count Cooper. And that's only with what we can find right now. We have no idea how the contractors and specialists hired from outside the company are doing if we are in any way affected. If we are in any way affected. How many more people are suffering? How many are missing? How many are dead? Can I still even blame the Wrights for this? If anything, they might be in danger as well. But they are, yeah, because they read the letter. I don't think I can wish a curse upon anyone, no matter how big of a douchebag Luke Wright is. There's also that woman. How did we get out of this mess? How do we get away from her? Shit, still so many things we need to look into, yet all my body wants to do is pace, burn out whatever excess energy there is in me.
Ashton, I'm getting dizzy. Will you sit down?
Girl. Well, he just had his first paranormal, what's it called? Paranormal, incident? So like he's a bit shaken, especially for a guy who's just like all hard facts and cold truths, you know? It's the first time Isabella has said anything. She's been sitting quietly since we dropped here. Better and less distracting than watching her nervous habits, I suppose. She certainly seems calm now. Too calm, in fact, for someone who has just seen something terrible. No, girl, she's already seen it. But it's been more than a week for her already. People do get desensitized to things at some point, even someone like Isabella. Who knows what's going on inside her head, though? Inside mine, there are too many, and none of them would sit still. I'm not going crazy, am I? I saw that. I'm pretty sure you saw that, and I didn't inhale anything weird. Jesus, shit, yes. Shit. Isabella, please tell me that wasn't... One I'm not expecting when I turn to her is mirth, and one that she could barely contain. Yeah! She's like, I told you she's real. You're laughing. Of course, you're laughing. Why are you laughing? I'm not quite sure what she sees in my face, but in the next second, a laugh suddenly burst out from her. I'm so sorry. Oh, her voice is gone. I'm so sorry. It's just that you should have seen the look on your face back there. Right, yes, right, sure. I'm not the one who panicked. I'm not the one who panicked. You almost ripped my arm off. Yeah, but... Isabella, this isn't funny. That woman almost got us. We could have ended up dead.
I know. I'm really sorry.
I know. It's just like, I told you.
But this is just too precious to miss. You really lost your shit for a moment there.
I know. You're trying to get back at me, aren't you?
Well, I'm not the one who kept calling someone scaredy cat for years. How does it feel?
I know, right? She's just loving it. I'm not scared.
Really? Because it doesn't seem that way to me. At all.
I know. I was ready to shit myself, so like... I'm not alright. I just don't know what to do right now. Immediately after, the moment passes, replaced by another tense silence. Laughter dies in her lips, and as everything sinks in. We're in deep shit, and it has finally caught up. And hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit me more than anyone. Yeah, hit me more than anyone. Because she has been warning us since this day. Because she has been warning us this since day one, and I'm the first person who brushed it off. Despite that, she still reaches out to me, tugging at my sleeve almost desperately. Her hands are trembling, and there's a tremor in her voice when she speaks. Without the cheer, only fear remains. One that she has been burdened with from the beginning.
We're still going to do something about it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, did you see that? Shit.
Not just stand around and let that thing get us.
Of course not. Unexpectedly, she leans her forehead against my arm, and her grip on my sleeve tightens. There's desperation in there, a quiet plea.
Don't want to lose anyone anymore, Ash.
I know. I wish I could give her that promise, but with so many unknowns, so many things I don't understand about this, how could I? Why she still trusts that I can do something about this baffles me. It all feels wholly undeserved, considering the way I've treated her. Yet despite my reluctance, I find myself returning her hold in kind. A grasp, warm and light enough for comfort. Not a promise, but the closest thing to it. Okay. Oh my god. Jesus. Where am I now for time? So like, I don't know where, I still want to go up to my 30 minute mark because I'm only approximately around the 20 minutes, so I can do another 10 more, or even a little bit more than that, but okay, let's do that. Let's just do it. Darkness blurs the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. Now he's having nightmares about it. Well, I don't blame him. Not like I wanted to sleep tonight. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There's only fear. Yes. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Morning breaks in a blurry mess of vivid shapes and colors. Oddly, there's no feeling of terror or confusion gripping me, despite the vague images that has driven me from sleep. Awareness kicks in shortly, though slow and sluggish, as I blink away the last remnants of unconsciousness from my eyes. The early morning light already streams The early morning light already streams from the open windows when the memory sets in and the room finally comes into focus. Isabella's apartment, right. Pushing myself upright, my eyes wander idly towards her prone form. She's hunched over the coffee table, both her arms under her head while she continues to rest. Then to the chaos of papers and folders we've left scattered over it before sleep has claimed both of us. We've bunkered down here last night after both our nerves have calmed down. Mine, for the most part, staying together was an unspoken invitation. And anyway, I'm pretty sure neither of us wants to remain alone when there's that woman. Is she still one in the first place? One that we'd normally call a human? Can it still feel guilt? Does it understand pain? Fuck, I'd rather get charged for breaking and entering than mess with whatever that thing was any day. Yes. Not that thinking about this still matters when all of our lives are in her hands. She's dangerous. If we don't do anything about her and this curse, we'll definitely be pushing daisies soon. I can't let that happen. I've dallied on this long enough, left all my friends in harm's way after the warnings they've all given me. Besides, beneath the terror and the adrenaline that keeps me running, knowing what lies ahead for Isabella makes it hard not to take action. The paper sitting on the edge of the table calls my attention at this light against my hand when I reach for it. It has caught my eye the night before, but with the lot we still need to go through, I've simply ignored it. The logo emblazoned on the top of the page, however, provides this paper a whole new meaning. Not for me, but definitely for her. University of Luxborn. A scholarship grant, huh? I've only ever heard her talk about this once or twice, completing her degree, that is. Oh. She rarely goes about it in great detail, preferring to keep it to herself. Perhaps it's the fact that she thinks she's already too old to be chasing after it. It has been 5 years after all, but I've caught enough snippets of conversation between her and Zach to know she has never given up on it. Despite how things have panned out with her father, she's one step closer to this part of her life. As silly as this may sound, coming from a friend, I like to give her the chance to have this. Whether this means stepping out of my comfort zone and figuring what the deal with this curse is, I'll do so. I mean, I don't think you have any choice in this matter after what you just witnessed, so... If only to see the same smile on her from that time again. These days, the only moments she seems to show it is when she's asleep, like right now, no matter how uncomfortable she appears. A smile at my own forms, despite this, when I glance at her sleeping form again. She hasn't moved since, her shoulders rising and falling in a slow, even rhythm with her breathing. You won't think she has any problems this way. If only they were true. Yeah, if only that were true. Sighing, I place the paper back where I've gotten it, carefully so I won't accidentally wrinkle or damage it in some way, and finally push myself off of my makeshift bed. Isabella shifts when I carry her off from the floor and over to her bed, but doesn't wake, simply tucks herself comfortably under the covers I pull over her. Briefly though, she mumbles something to herself and draws in another deep breath.
Becca, Ashton's being dumb again.
Hey now. She drifts back to a deeper state of sleep after, like it hasn't been interrupted by the slightest movement earlier, but the small smile on her lips remain. One I find myself returning in kind. Who sleeps like a rock now? Yeah, who sleeps like a rock now? It's better this way, better to leave her in her dreams for the moment, which I hope are better than the ones I've had. She'll have time to worry about our problems later when she wakes up. For now, this will be another thing I don't want to take away from her, a moment of respite, no matter how fleeting. She deserves it after everything she has been put through, what I put her through. In the meantime, I still have 2 other people I need to check with. Isabella will definitely get in a tizzy if I don't check on them. Yes. Cold Luxborn air meets me upon stepping out the hallway. Not unusual in itself, this is what Luxborn's weather is supposed to be. A bit cold, damp for the most part, and more often than not, terribly drab, with the occasional sprinkling of rain every few hours. The sky's still clear, but I'll give it a day or two before the weather takes a turn for the worse. I've complained about the awful rains for years, despite having lived here my entire life. I have to admit, though, seeing it return to the usual feels extremely reassuring. At least something's still normal in the world, when I can no longer think the same for the situation we're in. A nightmare, that's probably all this is. Usually I'll say, I've been through worse, but that's simply another lie I've told But that's simply another lie I've often told myself, isn't it? Yes. And I've fed myself a great deal of lies through the years, just so I won't have to think about it the next day. Maybe we won't even have this problem if I haven't been running away and ignoring things, hiding them someplace no one will see, because I've since believed doing so is a show of weakness. The fuck do I know about ghosts, though? Yeah. What does Zach? What does Rebecca? Yeah. Z-Man has mentioned dreaming about a woman. Whether it's the same one we've been seeing, yet I've yet to ask. It is. Bottom line, he likely knows as much about this as I do. Hell, Rebecca's probably in the same boat, grasping for anything that might provide an answer, a way out of this. What can any of us do when all of us lacks any understanding of what's happening? One thing's clear about this, however, that thing is after us because of the letter. Both Rebecca and Zach have seen it too. She will go after them as well. She already has. Yet here I am, walking up Becca's door, one slow step at a time, a stalling tactic to allow myself some time to put the mess in my head in a better order. How to phrase this when there's a 90% chance she's still pissed about a whole different matter. It's the only reason we didn't check on her last night, aside from the ungodly hour Isabella and I arrived. We'll only alarm her by showing up in her home in the middle of the night, acting like babbling lunatics, and her anger can last quite a while. These days, it seems the only one she can easily forgive is Isabella, but even with her, Becca's fuming still takes hours. I run my hand through my hair and straighten out my jacket before knocking, once, twice, and 3 times just to be sure she has heard me, even if she's asleep. She's usually awake by now, though. Hey, Becca, it's Ash. Open up. Don't tell me you're still in bed. Seconds tick by. No answer from her, and dread has started to creep up. I've been trained to handle dire situations, but the feeling has been doing that quite frequently since last night. My mind begins to anticipate the worst, and in the next minute, concerns has mixed in with my thoughts, and I bang my fist on the door louder this time. She's probably at the library, right? She'll definitely be livid, but I'd rather face her wrath than a dead body. Becca, it's Ash. There's something we need to talk about right away. Open up. I know you're...
Your girlfriend left early this morning, pretty boy.
Oh, yeah, figure. See, she's at the library. Yeah.
So, if you can do us a bloody favor and shut up, that'd be real fucking
Oh
polite!
my god, Jesus, fine. My hand pauses short of landing another heavy knock. From the other unit, Rebecca's other neighbor peeks in through his door, though I see nothing but a bundle of blankets. Me! Is this me? I'll say they need help from being devoured by their sheets, but it sounds like he's just fine. He's a huge asshole, too. Course of action, so people like him won't ruin your day. Act like the nicest person on the planet. Yeah, course of action for people who might ruin your day. Yeah, act like you're the nicest person on the planet. Has done me wonders when I was a rookie patrolling the streets. No need to match his temper. Right. Oh, did she say where she was going? Yeah.
I don't know. She said something about meeting someone or something, in case Filipina girl over there asks.
Okay.
Well, what am I, her keeper? You know some people want to sleep in on a bloody Sunday, so keep it down.
Okay, fine. Yes, go back to sleep. I'm sorry, sir.
Just looking forward to this weekend. Thanks, you damn git.
Oh my god. Well, there's no need to be an ass about it. I'll get out of your... He slams his door shut without warning, but not before muttering a string of very colorful words about me. Probably thinks I won't hear him inside the 4 walls of his apartment. Jerk. And at the end of it, a sigh. So Rebecca's not here. I must have missed her by an hour or so, but at least she's not alone. She should be safe, in theory. More so if the person she's meeting with is who I am thinking. Nevertheless, I still can't help but worry. It's an easy thing, continuing down increasingly darker lines of thought. To act brashly, to find out where she is and go straight there, without deliberating on my actions first. There's Zach to boot. Rebecca's not alone, but I can't say the same for the big guy. A simple phone call to the both of them should do the trick. Right. It'll ease my nerves at any rate. It's better than rushing over to Zach's place or assuming Rebecca's whereabouts and finding out that they're not where I've guessed they should be. Assuming the worst will come next, which I'd rather avoid this early. Any other reason I won't bother them, but an emergency begs for urgency. This is one, right? Yes, it is. Even if it isn't, anxiety from concern dulls judgment. Something I most certainly can't afford to lose at any given time, especially right now. Any means to calm it will do wonders for the muddled mess my mind is already in. Pulling up my phone, I thumb through the screen until it ends up on a group with only Zach's, Rebecca's, and Isabella's numbers listed. Other people will probably say I keep too few friends when they chance on this. To some extent, it's true. That's me, though. I can easily name about 100 people I've been acquainted with through the years. Colleagues, blockmates from uni, neighbors, those sort of people. They all come and go. But these three have chosen to stay for some reason without wanting or asking anything, or asking for anything. Unlike the others, none has Zach's kindness, Rebecca's patience, nor the sincerity in Isabella's eyes. One day these guys are just there. The next thing I know, being with them eases it. That heavy, somber feeling lingering in the air when you stand alone in your apartment, or something as simple as spending your day off without anyone. I'll say it's loneliness, but this carries much more depth than that. If I can help it, I don't want to lose any of them to some stupid curse. Right. A phone call may be the least comforting thing at the moment. Honestly, I prefer being in the same room with them right now, but I'll take what I can get. Becca first. She'll get angry at me for worrying about her. She isn't some hopeless damsel in distress after all. She isn't the shy little girl I knew when we were children. We're already far from the people we were back then, but that's more than enough reason to check in on her. I don't have to imagine her taking anything head on. She'll do it instead of asking for help when she needs it. I don't care if she gets mad at me, if only to know that she's fine. Yeah. A ring. In the silence of the hallway, it sound alone might as well be sharp enough to pierce through my ears. Another second passes. 2, 3. But when on the ninth ring it goes straight to a voicemail, a cold feeling instantly lodges in my stomach.
Rebecca Gales here. You've reached my voicemail. Sorry if I can't get to you right now.
I'm in the middle of fighting a ghost.
Oh, and if this is Isabella, yes, you're free to reheat the food in my fridge. Otherwise, leave a message.
Yes. Probably just busy, that's all, though I still barely manage to keep my voice even when I speak. Hey Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk ASAP, right? Becca will be alright. Is alright. Yeah, she's fine. She's safe. She's safe. She's with someone else. Nope. In the event that woman shows up, she'll have someone with her. Someone she'll be able to ask for help. She's safe. No, she's got this. She done beat her with a book. She can handle herself. Becca might have a fiery temper, but she knows when she's faced with something she can't handle herself. Rebecca will see my missed call and she'll call me back. Though I don't express it enough, Rebecca is someone I consider important to me. Aw, that's cute. She's been my friend for the longest. Anyone else would have been fed up with me and left. The girl stuck by me, no matter how big of a jerk I've been. There's Zach and Isabella now too, of course. I'll always be thankful for having them around. The worst times before, however, Becca was there. No one believes it when I say it, but I've surely had my awful moments as a bratty kid and as a horrible teen. Issues. I've too many of them to count and refuse to deal with for a time. At least that's what Andrew likes to tell me. I tend to think nothing of it. It has mellowed down over the years, thanks to the professor mostly. But at times I do wonder if it still burdens me the way it did all those years ago. After all, I was terrible, especially around the time of my parents' separation. Looking back at it now, I had no reason to direct all my frustration towards everyone else. While I wasn't a kid who lashed out at anyone, preferring to keep it to myself and turning those negative feelings into more productive things. I've grown distant from a lot of people because of it, from my old friends back in my old school and the neighbors I've hung out with before moving. A habit I've likely brought with me into adulthood. I was just so angry with everyone and everything. All I kept thinking about was myself, wondering why me. In retrospect, I was a selfish little bastard who thought the world revolved around me. That I shouldn't have been going through it. I believed my behavior was entitled, that I had the right. Tough times, but she stuck with me, snapped me out of my little sulk, as she often phrases it, whenever she seized the chance to bring it up. She didn't tolerate my bullshit, but she didn't leave me alone either. If anything, the whole thing made her stick around. Her concern may have grown a bit overbearing as the years went by, but she's still an old friend nevertheless. I owe her a lot. That won't change. Yes. Damn it, where are you, Becca? Another message left on her voicemail, then on my third call I hang up. For the time being, I can't do anything more than to wait for her to return my calls. Worrying aimlessly won't get me anywhere. Oh, Zach on the other hand. Yes, I was like, why don't you call Zach? That guy attracts trouble no matter how much he tries to avoid it. Doesn't help how he hasn't been too hot lately with a lot of people. He mentions a plan. His mention of plans yesterday doesn't sit too well with me either. He might be the next responsible adult after Rebecca out of the four of us, but I've still got to check on the big guy. Make sure he's doing okay, at the very least, whatever he has planned on doing. All I'm asking is for it not to be idiotic. He's a sensible guy, I'm sure. Yeah, I stopped him from being an idiot. However, desperation clings and pushes people to do things, rational or irrational, it doesn't matter. Clear thinking flies out of the window the moment you're in danger, and I sincerely hope he has not found himself in a tricky situation. His phone doesn't even ring before he answers, or his voicemail at least.
Hey, it's Zach. Well, a voicemail
Oh.
anyway. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, just leave a message, yeah?
Damn it.
And no, Ash, you're not allowed to lockpick your way into my apartment again. Just do what any other decent human being does and call if I'm not around. Thanks.
Okay. Did he turn it off? Why? I don't want to assume the worst yet. Maybe he has forgotten to charge it. Can't be. The guy can be a bit of a Boy Scout, even more than I am a cop. He's the type who has an extra battery or a power bank in his bag, if he ever needs it. Me, though. And he always does. He won't say anything or brag about it, but he's got quite a roster of VIP freelance clients. He won't just leave his phone dead in case he's on the field, particularly when people will likely be looking for him. He always leaves the connection open whenever clients or his friends need him. Zach is reliable like that. Tisk! Why isn't anyone answering? Because they got shit to do. His mobile in an out-of-range area sounds more plausible, although the thought of it doesn't completely shake off the unease. Unlike Rebecca and I, he took the time to listen to what Isabella said, and even if he didn't believe it, he was definitely the first one to offer help or to try to do something. If he ends up in trouble doing whatever it is, so help me, I'm going to... Well, I can't be rash. I'm aware of that. Been running the same reminder in my head since last night. But if something happens, I'm certain my reaction won't be pretty. Yo, Zach, call me back, alright? I wanted to check in, and, yeah, just please call me back. It's usually a joke between us when I say he's the Watson to my Sherlock. I don't see him as some assistant to put aside until he's needed, like some people like to believe, though. He's not some pity friend I keep around to make myself look good. If anything, he's the one who stayed by me out of pity. Zach's the one who puts up with me most of the time, even when he doesn't need to. It's not a case of a cool cop who helped out a minority. In truth, I was a hard-headed, hot-tempered, and reckless rookie up until I met him. It wasn't anything sudden, and some part of me is still that rookie, but I've grown, thanks to him. He tempers that part of me. Considering how our first impressions went, I'm lucky he stuck around. Becca and I may have spent a lot of years together as children, but Zach, he's probably the closest thing I'll call to a best friend, though. Though it's more than that, a camaraderie no words can express. He has my back and I'll always have his. He's a brother I've never had the luck of ever having, only child and all. And I have every reason to worry about my brother. Becca's neighbor did say she went out to meet with someone, no specific names. If I'm wrong and she's not with Professor Clark, then maybe it's with Zach. They've never been close, but it's not that kind of awkward friendship where meeting together remains out of the question. Regardless, I continue dialing for his phone another 3 times, like I've done with Becca's. In the end, after the 3rd attempt with no answering, I stop and move to cut the call with a ragged exhale. Waiting game it is, then. Really? I've been trained for those. Hell, I'm used to them. Just not when it comes to people I'm close to. Much as I keep reminding myself to maintain a level head, it's a whole different matter when it's someone you know. Personal feelings will likely get involved at some point. It's starting now, actually, with the anxious strings coiling and uncoiling causing a racket inside my stomach. And that's exactly when the line finally connects. Before he even speaks, my question has already slipped out, including every pent-up worry and tension in my body. Where are you? Yeah, the line's choppy, though I can still make out the words he's saying, nothing to worry about then. He's just someplace where network coverage is shitty, can't imagine we're at this time of the morning, though. Oh, well, the Urban Guard Mansion, where else? Did he go out for a jog?
What was that, Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal shitty here.
Yes, duh. I asked, where are you? Hell, Zach, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into? I meant that to sound as friendly as possible to keep things light at least. Instead, only the frustration shows in my tone.
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you.
Girl, I ain't even there though.
I thought you'd be...
No, I'm not. What mansion?
Do I really need to answer that?
Yes. Why are you even... Please don't tell me that's his plan? A morning visit to the mansion where Luke Wright is? Of all the pig-headed things to do right now, it's the best thing he can come up with. Breaking and entering? No, I didn't do it though. I've got plenty of reasons to rail at him right now, although no matter how much I want to give him a piece of my mind, unfortunately, it's not the time. No, wait. Just get your ass at Isabella's place, and hurry. He pauses a moment, a second of indecision, while he seems to contemplate his options.
How urgent is this?
Very. In truth, the question, the hesitance, and the indecision in his voice has caught me completely off guard, and understanding dawns on me. His decision to go there isn't born out of stupidity. Yeah. His decision to go there isn't one born out of a stupid impulse. He must have found something. However, no matter how urgent it is, he still shouldn't have gone there, alone at that, right? Despite myself, in that split second of a comprehension, I allow it to show. A weakness. A simple request brimming with every unease and disquiet causing turmoil within me since last night. It bears a selfish hope that he'll understand, even through the unstable signal, that whatever is keeping him there, he'll be willing to set it aside for now. Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here. Please, Zach. Silence fills the other end of the line again. For a long moment, I assume he won't heed it. For a moment, I assume he won't heed it, and I'll have to drive there myself just to drag him away from whatever danger he's skirting. Thankfully, he agrees.
I'll be there in a few. An hour or two, tops.
Yes, this is where we saw it. Thanks, I'll see you. Relief washes over me as soon as the call ends. There we go. I think I'm gonna end it here, you guys. It's a good place because we caught up with what all of our loose ends in terms of the ending to Rebecca's. Well, Becca hasn't called us back yet, but we saw Ashton make the voicemail message for her when she found it after she escapes the library. But then now we got in contact with Zach, who was where we last left off with Zach when Ashton called us, and it was like, oh, it's urgent, super urgent. Anyways, I'm gonna read this journal entry and then we can just finish up on this episode. And yeah, so after that close call, Ashton spent the night at Isabella's, only to be kept awake by nightmares. At an utter loss and with all of his beliefs overturned, Ashton decided to check on Zachary and Rebecca. Unfortunately, only Zachary returned his call. Don't worry, Rebecca's fine. She just had to gather herself. She's in the middle of currently battling a ghost right now. Anyway, so yes, that is all for this episode, you guys. Damn. I had a sinking feeling that, like, because I don't know if you guys have seen like the Kickstarter page or the fundraiser page that this game had first started off on, but they basically had like a couple of, or even on their like Steam game page, but anyways, they basically had a couple of like screen caps and a little bit of the short videos of some of the things that you might see in the game in terms of it being a visual novel and a QTE kind of game. So one of them was the elevator scene, and like before it was just basically mashing a couple of buttons. I think it was letter buttons and mashing them as they come up in succession. But that one caught me off guard with the whole number thing, and I'm just like, I don't do well under pressure. This is why I don't play scary games, you guys. Even this is like, I like bitched out on it. But anyways, at least so far that's the only QTE I bitched out on, and I'm pretty sure that there'll be plenty of more to come. So there you go, you guys. Yeah, so tune in next time. In the next episode, we'll see where we can go with the story now, and in terms of like, again, you know, picking up after loose ends and other people's point of view. So that'll be interesting. And now Ashton has, you know, had his full-blown experience with the supernatural. So yeah. So until then, you guys, bye.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will